Good afternoon. Welcome to the 47th meeting of the Honolulu Liquor Commission. Apologies for the late start. We had a special meeting immediately preceding this matter. And we will move directly into our hearings calendar today. We will call a few out of order, starting with agenda item number 20, request number 23-0.
You can just stay there. You can go to the left desk.
Okay. That's calling agenda item number 20, request number 23-03939 from James Lee on behalf of the garden.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Name is James Lee, representing KKM LLC DBA Kim's Garden. Seated to my right is Mr. Sam Shunho Kim, the owner and also the member.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So this is a request to waive the 5-day rule, correct?
Correct.
What was the business that was open previously?
Billion Pocha.
And do you know when they closed or when their license?
May 5th, 2022.
May 5th,
May 5th,
2022.
2022.
Okay, with me. Thank you. Okay, commissioners, any questions, comments, or type of action?
I have no questions.
I move we approve request number G3-03939.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or resolutions? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Request number 23-03939 is approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving back to the top of our calendar for special license applications, calling agenda item number 1, applications number 23-02908-1 through 23-02908-27 from Yarikuri Sushi LP.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Kevin Ikoba here, representing Yarikuri Sushi LP, doing business as on sushi. Next to me is Kazu Kato, Kato. He is the general manager for Kansushi.
Afternoon.
Well, we are actually in the process of getting our, we've applied for the final license, so we're waiting on preliminary hearing and stuff. It's a process, so this is a sort of a measure to keep things going.
Was this on a temp previously or is this?
No, there was no liquor license previously, so we had to go this route.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners?
There's no outside seating. Everything's in closed.
Everything is inside, yes.
I have no other questions.
Okay, I move we approve application number 23-02908-1 through 23-02908-27 inclusive.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Applications number 23-02908-1 through 23-02908-27 inclusively are approved.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Calling agenda item number 2, application number 23-03871 from Memoirs LLC.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and the board. My name is Taylor Passion. I'm the general manager of Memoirs LLC. Nothing for this event has changed since the submission.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions?
No one under 21. That is correct. No one under 21 will be at this event. Okay, I have no other question.
Okay, I move we approve application number 23-03871.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-03871 is approved. We are going to call out of order because it's the same applicant. Calling agenda item number 7, application number 23-03986 from Memoirs LLC.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and the board. I submitted a withdrawal for the application of this event due to the violations of the venue, and we couldn't obtain the clearance for the zoning clearance, so we have pulled out of the bar services for this event.
Okay, so this application is withdrawn and no further action is necessary for agenda item number 7. Calling agenda item number 8, application number 23-03987 from Morris LLC.
Good evening, Commissioner and the Board. My name is Taylor Passion, representing General Memoirs Catering, the General Manager, and nothing has changed for this event either. We are at 57 guests and no minors.
Commissioner?
I move we approve application number 23-03987.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-03987 is approved. Calling agenda item number 9, application number 23-03988 from Memoirs LLC.
Good evening, Commissioner and the Board. My name is Taylor Passion, representing Memoirs LLC, and I'm the General Manager. For this event, again, nothing has changed. It's 70 guests. No minors will be attending the event, and we do have shuttles delivering guests and taking them from property as well.
Thank you for that summary. Commissioners, any comments, questions, or type of action?
And I move we approve application number 23-03988.
second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-03988 is approved. Thank you very much. Moving back to the top of our calendar, calling agenda item number 3, applications number 23-03936-1 through 23-03936-20 inclusively from Hongkong Inc.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, I believe you've been provided a copy. The email correspondence from Council Keith Kyuchi requesting that this matter be rescheduled to the July 6th meeting, please.
And is that date acceptable? That's right.
Yes.
Okay. Agenda item number 3 is continued to the July 6th calendar date. Calling agenda item number 4, application number 23-03945 from Waikiki Yacht Club. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Ron Gridley. I'm the Commodore for Waikiki Yacht Club. To my left is Dennis Keneally. He is the general manager. We submitted a request for a one-time special license because we are hosting the Great Trans-Pacific Race, which started out of LA yesterday, and our party is for the 12th. The only thing I think that I added, excuse me, was DLNR did approve the request. We have that in the package, and I believe you have it in front of you. Standing by to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Gridley. I have a individual here, which I believe is yourself, that would like to testify as to this matter. Is that correct?
I misunderstood.
Okay.
I'm here. I got nothing else to say. If you have any
You
questions.
can say as much as you want.
No, we're good. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions, comments, or type of action?
only one question, Mr. Goodley, if parking wise, right? I mean, if you have some guests that are over consumption, what is their are they going to be able to park somewhere within the property overnight to leave their car if they need to, or how would that work?
Yeah, we do have parking at the club itself, and we do have additional security guards and HPD out front. So we're monitoring that, the staff as well. So if it comes to that situation, we'll put them in the parking lot, park their car.
That's the only question I have. Thank you.
Okay, I move we approve application number 23-03945.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-03945 is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 5, application number 23-03953 from Bishop Museum.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Name is Derek Stevens with Free Spirits LLC, authorized agent on behalf of Bishop Museum. There are no changes to the investigative report.
Thank you. Could you just briefly summarize the event for us?
So this is a continuation of the event that they held last year. It's going to be it's held on the second Friday of each month. Members and guests come on LIQ are able to come over and enjoy the museum, look at the exhibits, enjoy. They have food vendors there. music, live music, and then we'll have the beer garden as well.
And the beer garden is separated from the rest of the campus.
What I did was I tried to continue the application that was on file previously, and they licensed pretty much the whole Great Lawn area.
But is there any sort of a designated area for drinking, or is everyone free to roam about?
Friends of roam about, there will be 6 security staff and 20 front of house staff roaming the campus grounds.
And how will you be doing security checks for IDs and age?
At the bar itself, they're gonna be checking for ID, and then we're gonna ban everybody of age.
Commissioners?
Well, just 2 quick questions. What is your security plan if your people catch someone within your space passing liquor from whoever they're with to an underage person?
Typically, what they do is they confiscate the alcohol from the guests, and then they ask them to leave.
And then my last question would be, if there is overconsumption or someone is unable to drive, are they going to be able to leave their car at the parking lot of Bishop Museum, or what is the plan in regards to that?
So security will allow them to leave their car there overnight, and so they can pick it up the next day. They just leave their information and contact info with the staff on campus and also the security.
Okay, thank you. That's the only questions I have.
Now, I have one question. What's the difference between the green dots? The entire space is going to be licensed, but then there's a ton of like green dots all over.
I think those are just bushes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
but yeah, that's their bushes.
Okay,
So those areas are blocked out. You can't really walk in that area.
got it. All right, I move we approve application number 23-03953.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-03953 is approved. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Calling agenda item number 6, applications number 23-03955-1 through 23-03955-23 inclusively from JJ Ku Hawaii Inc. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Christina O'Hara on behalf of the applicant. To my left is Roger Mina. He's the food and beverage manager. And behind him is Liberty Lee, the GM for Honolulu Country Club. We have no changes to the investigative report. We would request that to the extent the original application was filed in September of 2022, if the commission feels like waiving the fees here or decreasing them, they would be greatly appreciated. They'd be about $6,000 in my estimation. Our original application was filed in September of 2022 again. But to the extent that's not possible, we do ask that we be refunded for the days we don't use if we end up getting our license before using all 67 days.
This is a point of order, Mr. Wright. If there are unused days, what is the general policy for refunding the days that are not used?
With commission approval, we can refund. Sometimes applicants will ask that they be given credit towards future special licenses or what have you. So basically with commission approval, we can do a refund for unused days.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Commissioners, what do you think about the requests and any other comments or questions?
2 items, I guess, and just as discussion, approving the license seems fine with me, and approving a refund of the unused stands are also fine with me. That's a discussion point.
yeah, it's a discussion, but I'm fine with that. So I guess the motion would be to approve application number 23-03955-1 through 23-03955-23 inclusively with the verbiage that the licensee would be able to come back and ask for a refund on days that were not used in that.
I think they just identify, if you approve that concept, they just identify to us the number of unused days and then we could take action on that rather than make them come back.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to identify the days if they're unused to the commission for refund.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Applications number 23-03955-1 through 23-03955-23 inclusively are improved with the added condition that any unused days within the days approved could be refunded to the applicant. Thank you very much. Calling agenda item number 10, application number 23-04008-1 through 23-04008-30 inclusively from Kahala Living Center Community Inc. Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the Commission, Mr. Rai, Robert Uyoka on behalf of Honolulu, present to my right, Mr. Todd Constantino, who's the Food and Beverage Director. At this time, we have no changes to the investigator's report. We did file a club liquor license application in May 2022, and we have been operating under special liquor license since August 2022 with no problems.
Thank you very much, Mr. Uyoka. Commissioners.
No questions.
Okay. I move we approve application number 23-04008-1 through 23-04008-30 inclusive.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application is number 23-04008-1 through 23-04008-30 inclusively are approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Moving into our preliminary hearings, calling agenda item number 11, application number 23-00776 from Woonjat Bishop Pantry Corporation. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. To my right is the owner, Lang Z Lothal. She is present with Council Wayne Luke. We have no changes to the investigator's report.
Good afternoon.
She has been operating the store without a license for about a year.
She's been operating the store without a license for about.
Yes, with the Pacific Guardian.
And the ink is a little faded, but it looks like the entire premises is outlined for the license area. Is that correct? Thank you. Commissioner?
only one double door entrance, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the only question I have. Thank you.
I move we approve application number 23-00776.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-00776 is approved. Thank you very much. Calling agenda item number 12, application number 23-00868 from Yoda LLC.
The owner, Daniel Lim, is present with Council Wayne Luke.
Yeah.
We have no changes to the investigator report, and he already is prepared for the warnings that he's gonna get again.
That he has to talk like Yoda for the request? No, I'm kidding.
Thank you. Commissioner.
I have no questions.
Wow. Okay. I did that on purpose. I move we approve application number 23-00868.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-00868 is approved.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Calling agenda item number 13, application number 23-00965 from Mr. Sangria Bar LLC. Good afternoon.
Gentlemen, Kester Johnson representing Mr. Sangria Bar. No change to the investigation, preliminary hearing, and I've been working off of a special license since 13.
Yes, good to see you again and glad that you're at the preliminary hearing stage. Commissioners.
on the schematic plan, which side of the building has the entrance? Is that the bottom that's closest to the elevator?
Correct,
Entrance? Okay,
facing the elevator, correct. That's
Got it.
the food court entrance.
got it. Okay, that's the only question I had.
Okay, I move we approve application number 23-00965.
Second,
It's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-00965 is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 14, application number 23-01308 from Popular Human LLC. Mr. Luke.
And the member, Kevin Young, is present with Council Wayne Luke. We have no changes to the investigator's report.
Commissioner. Commissioners.
Again, I'm assuming the ink is very faded, but I'm assuming it's the whole floor plan in red, correct?
Yes.
No, that's the only question I had. Thank you.
And move we approve application number 23-01308.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01308 is approved.
Thank you.
thank you.
Calling agenda item number 15, application number 23-02576 from MBR Hawaii LLC, DBA Choice Garden Korean Restaurant. Mr. Luke. good afternoon.
Yes. To my right is Peter Yim, the general manager, brother premises. He is present with Council Wayne. There are no changes to the investigative report.
This is a transfer application. The license is currently in safekeeping. Is that correct?
Yes, Choice Garden. It's in safety.
Questions?
All right, and move we approve application number 23-02576.
Second,
A motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-02576 is approved.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
thank you, sir.
Calling agenda item number 16, application number 23-03952 from HSI Honolulu Joint Venture Company.
Good afternoon, Robert Wheelock on behalf of HMS.
Go ahead.
Robert Wheelock on behalf of HMS Host. Present to my right, Mr. Christopher Kato-Hiro. He is a senior director of operations. We have no changes to investigative report. This is a temporary bar located in the new Malcolm Concourse. We did recently open the Malcolm Market, and we're really excited about earlier this month. So this is an additional location to give travelers another option.
Thank you, Mr. Uyoka. Commissioners?
I have no question.
And move we approve application number 23-03952.
Second,
Been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-03952 is approved. Thank you
so
very
much.
much. Thank you. Moving into requests. Calling agenda item number 17, Club Sundance Inc.
From Club Sundance with issue about insurance. Can we attend some, please?
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Your name? Can you tell your name?
My name is Mai Nguyen,
Can you spell your name? Spell your name.
MAINGUYEN.
So your license is not currently in safekeeping?
No, because we have issue about insurance. And that's why now we look for insurance, but they said wait for it.
It was, the license was placed in safekeeping literally yesterday.
Okay.
Yes.
okay. So the request is simply
To renew while
not
in
to also
safekeeping.
place it in safekeeping. Okay. Okay, thank you. Commissioners?
I don't have any questions.
I move we approve request number 23-04086.
Have a request? Wait, oh, it does, but it doesn't on the agenda item. Thank you very much, Mr. or Commissioner Hung.
Okay, second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Request number 23-04086 is approved. Thank you very much.
Again, what's the name? We can open or we have to close totally.
You know, if you can ask, you can tell the front counter that you got permission to renew
Yeah.
and work out the details about getting your license out of safekeeping with them. The front counter, you have to ask the front counter, okay?
Thank you so, thank you.
Thank you very much. Calling agenda item number 18, request number 23-03911 from Hawaiian Pacific Restaurant Group, Inc.
Scott Armstrong, where's restaurant? Wait, try.
So this is to temporarily increase the premises for an event.
Not for event, but we run a table, 2 tables outside already, I mean, continuously since COVID.
See,
Just waiting for, trying to seek a permanent licensing for outside. I'm waiting on drawings.
I see. And so that outside is that 34 by 17 by 15 space that's outlined in red. Is that correct?
Yes, but we're not using the entire space. We used to use the other side with tables, but we took them down. But basically it's just probably a small portion of it now.
And is there any delineation of space, physical delineation of space outside barriers or walls or anything
No.
like that, that space?
No bearings,
But just tables
just two tables on the, under the tent.
under 10. Commissioners?
Okay, so I understand that there is nothing delineating the outside area. I would suggest or say, right, that if this request gets approved, please make sure that there's someone out there watching to make sure that if there is alcohol served out there, that no one's passing it or handing it off to someone walking around or sitting at their table. Because we want to make sure there's no,
Yeah.
not the correct person drinking,
Yes.
okay? But I have no other questions in that. Thank you.
It's less of a concern with table service, but if there's nothing to show where the licensed premises is, someone even mistakenly might move in or out of it by accident. So that's something else you can be aware of.
Okay, I move we approve request number 23-03911.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Request number 2-03911 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 19, request number 23-04074 from KSLR LM LLC. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Robert Uyoka on behalf of Outrigger Reef. Especially with request to proceed. Barbara Campbell was unable to be here today. She's the vice president of Outrigger Hospitality Group. She had an unexpected conflict. We have no changes to investigators report. This involves a permanent reduction for the Monkey Pod by Merriman Restaurant coming up in Outrigger Reef. It's on the Mackay side of the property. It's also with agenda item 22, but this is for the permanent reduction of our hotel liquor license to allow for the restaurant space.
Thank you, Mr. Uyoka.
Thank you.
I have no questions.
I move we approve request number 23-04074.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Request number 23-04074 is approved.
Thank you so much.
Calling out of order, agenda item number 22, requests from MPK4 LLC DBA Monkey Pod Kitchen by Merriman. Afternoon.
Robert Uyoka again on behalf of Monkey Pod Kitchen by Merriman. Present to my right, Ms. Sarah Hill. She is the chief executive officer of Handcrafted Restaurants. As I mentioned on previous items, for I guess it's kind of modifications of our floor plans. I guess we included some staircases and some elevators, it looks like. So this cleans it up. Investigator Sato was very helpful in working with us on this. And we just have to tweak the floor plans a little bit. So we got new floor plans, eliminate some areas, and it is attached as an exhibit in the investigative report.
So see that very much. Thank you very much, commissioners.
And move we approve application number 22-24036.
second,
Been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, the motion carries. Application number 2. Sorry, did I also?
22-240.
No, did I also? I also join in that motion.
I believe so.
Okay, well, I will join in that motion. Application number 22-24036 is approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Calling agenda item number 21, request number 23-03968 from Kenneth Hu on behalf of 7-Eleven Hawaii. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members, Kenneth Hu appearing for the applicant. This is a request to extend the deadline for the issuance of the license because of construction delays, getting permitting and whatnot. So we're asking for a 1-year extension of the deadline.
And is the 1 year based upon your expectation with the construction delays?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioner?
I move we approve request number 23-03968.
Second,
Been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Request number 23-03968 is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are going to move into our adjudication hearing, but before that, the commission will take a brief recess. Okay, we are back on the record. Thank you for allowing us time for a brief recess. We are going to now move into our adjudications. Mr. Jacob.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. Daniel Jacob on behalf of the city and county of Honolulu.
Good evening. Okay, calling agenda item number 23, LCV 23-0059, Korea One Inc. Korea One Inc. You please state your name to the record.
My name is Nina Park. I'm speaking on behalf of my mother, owner of Yakiniku Korea House in Park.
Mr. Jacobs, can you please read the charge?
On or about June 30th, 2022, licensee failed to make available for inspection and or auditing within the city and county of Honolulu its books and records for the last 4 years, indicating all income, purchases, expenses, and employee time records of licensee's liquor business in violation of Rule 3-81 17.54 sub D of the rules of the Liquor Commission of the City and County of Honolulu.
Excuse me, Miss Park? Okay, so how would your mother like to plead? She can accept the charge, deny the charge, or plead no contest.
Will accept the charge.
Okay, motion to accept the plea.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation for agenda item 23?
This is licensee's second violation. The recommended fine is $750. This violation occurred after a previous violation. The auditor's office conducted a follow-up audit in which the licensee was once again unable to produce its books to determine its gross liquor sales. The first violation was May 17th, 2021, where the licensee paid $500. Again, this is the second violation. The recommended fine is $750.
Ms. Park, so this is a second time that this is happening. Have you or your mom figured out or decided a plan on how you're going to correct this situation? Because if the commission comes again requesting this information and you can't prove it again or provide it again, this will be an additional, a third violation. And we do have, the rules do allow us to suspend or revoke a license if you cannot provide documents. So have you folks figured out a process?
Started using a POS system, so everything should be easier to track.
Okay.
With record.
PMS system, okay.
Ms. Park, the next set of books that you need to present is going to be June 30th in just a few days of this year. So you're going to be prepared to.
I'm not sure. We need to get in touch with an attorney. Or I'm not sure what the steps are after.
Okay, so what Commissioner Hong is saying is coming up, right? They could be requesting your books by the end of June to show again, right? So the question he's asking is, will you be prepared at that point?
Okay, I'm seeing. We should be, yes.
Okay, good. That was my question. I wanted to make sure that we won't see you here in like another. Okay, good. Thank you.
I was correct, but what's your question?
Yeah.
I want to make sure, I don't want to speak for you, but I want to make sure I'm correct. Sorry. Okay, so it is going to cost them because, we're not able to provide it. So my motion is going to be to approve the recommended fine of $750 for agenda item number 23.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The fine of $750 will be imposed for agenda item number 23. Thank you very much. We hope your POS system settles it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the next one as well. Yes. Calling agenda item number 24, LCV 23-0055, Korea One Inc. Could you please state your name again for the record?
Nina Park. Speaking on behalf of Park.
Mr. Jacobs, could you please read the charge?
On or about May 10th, 2023, in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, licensee failed to have an employee duly registered with the Liquor Commission as a manager or assistant manager of the premises on which he or she is employed in active charge of the licensed premises, in violation of Rule 3-82-38.9 sub A of the rules of the Liquor Commission of the city and county of Honolulu.
Ms. Park, you can accept the charge, deny the charge, or plead no contest. Motion to accept the plea.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation for agenda item number 24?
This violation occurred on May 10th when the liquor investigators arrived at the facility to issue the NOV in regards to the case we just heard. And at that time, they did not have a registered manager on duty. The investigative reports notes that there's 19 customers that were drinking alcohol at the time. This is a second violation for licensee. It's $750 recommended fine. First violation was October 18th, 2018, in which they were reprimanded.
What was the figure again? I'm sorry.
The $750 is the recommended fine.
So Ms. Park, what happened? There was no employee duly registered with us during the May 10th situation. Is there, okay, so I guess my better question would be, how many people are now registered as a manager with the Liquor Commission?
Currently have 7 people.
So you currently have 7 people. On May 10th, none of the 7 people were working or they were not registered yet?
They were not registered.
Okay.
And we had one person who stepped off premises for a moment.
So they stepped out of the premises for the moment and then you folks now have 7.
For that day, we only have that one person and
Ms. Park, how long have you had this license?
maybe
You know,
a month or 2 now.
how long have you been operating the establishment? How
How
many
long have I
years?
been working? And at the restaurant
How long has this restaurant been in existence? Have you been
for
operating?
about 20 plus years. You know.
Yes. Okay, so I guess my question is how long, so the restaurant's been there for 20 years. Have you had a liquor license for all of that time period?
I just started about 2 years ago. I've only had it for about 2 months. Liquor license.
Oh, I think he meant for the establishment, not for you as an employee.
Oh, for the established, I don't understand the question.
Okay, so
sorry.
your restaurant has been running for 20 years.
Yeah.
Have you had a liquor license or has your mom had a liquor license for the whole 20 years?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So it's very important to make sure, and you realize that now because you've made 7 people go to make sure there's a manager on duty, but you need to always have a manager in charge of the space, okay? I'm looking back, I guess he said 2018, right, was their last or previous violation.
Correct.
I'm gonna make a motion for the fine to be $500.
Second,
Got a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also but I, the motion carries. A fine of $500 will be imposed for agenda item number 24. Okay, thank you.
You're finished.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 25, LCV 23-0063 W Steak Waikiki LLC, DBA Wolfgang Steakhouse.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members, Kenneth appearing for the licensee. At this time, we'll waive reading of the charge, consent to the words and figures contained therein and plead no contest. This is the installation of a door without approval.
Motion to accept the plea.
second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation for agenda item number 25?
This is a first time violation. The recommended fine is $500. Mr. Hu is correct. This involves installing a door into an extended area of the licensed premises.
My explanations initially, so when the licensee applied for the extension, they didn't realize they needed to put a door in the existing premises to get into the extension to do the renovations. So they subsequently, they put in that door. It wasn't shown on the floor plans for the extended area and hence the violation. That's it.
Thank you for your explanation, Mr. Hu. Motion is going to be to issue a letter of reprimand for agenda item number 25.
second,
Got a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The letter of reprimand will be issued for agenda item number 25. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 26, LCV 23-0067, Scratch Kitchen and Meadery.
I represent to the commission that Scratch is represented by Neil Goto. He's asked for a continuance until our next available date. I have no objection to his request for continuance.
Agenda item number 26 is continued to the next available calendar date. Calling agenda item number 27, LCV 23-0061, Pacific Ocean of Eco L Limited.
May the record reflect Wayne Luke as attorney and authorized agent for the licensee. We waive reading of the charges, enter a plea of no contest.
Motion to accept the plea.
second,
The motion in a second and the objections, reservations, hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, your recommendation for agenda item 27.
This is a first time violation. The recommended fine is $500. The record appears to indicate that the license was transferred as of January 10th. 2020. I apologize, I don't have my date, but the application was subsequently filed on February 16th.
Yes, this is an explanation. They did go through escrow. And going through escrow, the lease was assigned. The only saving grace is that they did not sell liquor until they got their temporary license.
And for the record, this was this year. Apologize for that.
Yes. Yeah, they did some minor alterations.
So this entity that's before, is that the transferor or the transferee?
What's that?
Is this the transferor or the transfer?
This is the transferor,
They're no longer in the premises.
and they served it on the transferee, but. You know, the authorization for both sides. Well, you know, for the transfer.
My motion is going to be to approve the recommended fine of $500 for agenda item number 27.
Second. It's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. A fine of $500 being imposed for agenda item number 27.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 28, LCV 23-0062, Mexico Restaurant.
My name is Rosalind Liu. I'm the authorization for Mr. Cardenas.
Mr. Jacobs, could you please read the charge?
On or about February 3rd, 2023, in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, licensee made physical alterations within its licensed premises, to wit, installation of a kitchen door and decorative wall, removal of toilets and stalls, enlargement of a pass-through window, without prior written approval from the Liquor Commission, in violation of Rule 3-83-62 sub A of the rules of the Liquor Commission of the city and county of Honolulu.
And I might say so, Ms. Liu. What, how do I pronounce your last name? I'm sorry.
Oh, Liu.
Liu,
Yeah.
okay. How would you like to plead? You can accept the charge, deny the charge, or plead no contest.
We accept the charge.
Accept the charge. Motion to accept the plea.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation in agenda item 28?
This is the first time violation. The recommended fine is $500. I'll inform the commission that this violation was discovered when the licensing investigative report visited the facility for a transfer application.
So Ms. Liu, any explanations?
He was not aware he was trying to fix things during the pandemic and did not get approval. We have since rectified the situation and everything has been approved. New plans have been submitted.
So I'm gonna ask a question. Were all the alterations made during the pandemic, or were some made after the pandemic ended?
Right?
Yeah.
All during the pandemic.
Yeah, my motion is going to be to issue a letter of reprimand for agenda item number 28.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. A letter of reprimand will be issued for agenda item number 28. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 29, LCV 23-0060, 40 carats.
Mr. Chair, Commission members, Kenneth Hu appearing for the licensee. This time we waive reading of the charge, consent to the words and figures contained therein, and plead no contest.
Motion to accept the plea.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, your recommendation for number 29?
This is a first time violation. The recommended fine is $500. This violation occurred when Bloomingdale's went from incorporated to LLC.
Mr. Hu, your explanations?
This is a conversion that was done nationwide for all of the stores, restaurants and outlets that Bloomingdale's had at that time. There were so many stores and so many outlets to do, and unfortunately, Hawaii was forgotten.
So I have listed here that it was July 20th, 2022. Is that when the transfer happened or the changeover, or is that when it was brought to, when you found out about it, not 2020, I mean, July 20th, 2020.
Well, I didn't find out about it until we tried to renew the license and we had a problem with that.
Okay, okay.
So.
Okay.
And then I realized that there were a series of changes made without getting the commission's approval. Which I think we cleared up by getting the conversion approved. But it was done obviously after the fact.
Notwithstanding the conversion, were the same people that were fingerprinted and done background checks?
Yes.
Still the people that were operating the kind of.
Yes, the same officers, directors stayed in place.
Okay. My motion is going to be to issue a letter of reprimand for agenda item number 29.
Second.
The motion, any objections or reservations, hearing and I also vote aye, the motion carries. A letter of reprimand will be issued for agenda item number 29.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 30, LCV 23-0066 PS Associates LLC DBA Club Hot Ash.
I represent to the commission that Attorney Keith Gucci represents Club Hot Ash. He's asked for a continuance. I have no objection.
So next available? Or
Yes,
okay, sir.
next available. I'm not sure if we have our Thursdays available right now because of the lack of adjudication. So next available.
Agenda item number 30 is continued to the next available calendar date. Calling agenda item number 31, LCV 23-0065 PC Associates LLC DBA Club Hot Ash.
Once again, Chair Keith Gucci represents the licensees, asked for a continuance. I have no objection. Next available.
Agenda item number 31 is continued to the next available calendar date. Calling agenda item number 32, LCV 23-0028 Senia LLC.
Hi, Commissioners. Catherine Namura for Senia LLC. We'll waive the reading of the charges and plead no contest.
Motion to accept the plea.
Second.
Been a motion in a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Please accept.
Mr. Now, sorry, Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendations for agenda item number 32?
This is licensee's first time violation. The recommended fine is $500. This violation occurred when the licensee failed to provide its books and records for inspection for the last 4 years.
Ms. Namara, any explanations?
Absolutely. So the period in question for which we were audited was for during the pandemic, the world was shut down. So the situation was we pivoted to what's the restaurant closed to do takeaway. And so we've obviously just in our struggle to survive, we're trying to reduce operating costs. So we switched our point of sale system. When we started our takeaway program, we ran that through our reservation system. And this was all in place before we were allowed to sell alcohol to go. And then once we were allowed to sell alcohol to go, we started selling that through the same system, which was our reservation system called Resi. When we were audited, we realized that the reporting through Resi wasn't really the best way. We were able to provide reports, but it's essentially the reservation report. So it had a lot of our clients and our guests' personal information. So we didn't hand it over. It had names and phone numbers, license plate numbers for pickup. So we didn't hand that over to the commission when we were audited. When we reopened for dine-in service, we changed our point of sale system. So we're fully able to report everything that we sell and we don't sell anything to go. But that was the situation. When we went through the whole auditing, we were actually gave all the information that we had to the investigator, and we thought everything was resolved until we received the violation in the middle of the service. We were a little taken aback by that. But.
So I guess my question is going to be, so the Reso system you used, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was able to produce you a report, which I guess that report had a lot of personal information, so you didn't want to turn it over. Did it have the liquor sales and gross sales for that time period?
It didn't have it itemized. We were beta testing of their new program to add items. So that's how we were selling any like the wine and the beer and the alcoholic offerings. So what we would do is we would pull it from the actual reservation
the items that people had purchased added to the reservation notes, and then those reservation reports are what we would use to reconcile. So it was the Resi system, since it is essentially a reservation system, not a point of sale system, wasn't really set up to report. When we let them know that we were being audited, we asked them if they were able to provide an itemized report, and they were not on their side. They've subsequently changed and resolved that issue, and they are able to report items now. But at that time, since we were beta testing that program for them, they didn't have that.
Okay, so my only question for that was whether you could or could not produce it at this point, right, for us to rectify.
Oh, it still would be,
Would it have like the cost or what your sales would be? That's what it would be reporting, right? Would be reporting your gross liquor sales, right?
it would have to be still at this point, individual reservation reports for each day that we had our takeaway program. And from there, you'll see in the notes,
What they
it would be
purchased.
we sold them as boxes. So a box, a one bottle of wine and 2 cocktails to go. So it would be in a note, but I don't know if they were at this point would be able to still pull it. It's since it was 2020, probably not.
Okay.
We understand that you didn't produce that. What did you produce?
We produced, so we had reopened for dine-in service as part of the year that we were audited. So we provided those reports from April to June. And then what we did, I showed the investigator a copy of the report. I showed him how we reconciled what we sold and explained the reasons why we didn't want to hand those over, since it had people's personal information. So we did the best that we could in protecting the people's privacy, and then showing how we came up with the bookkeeping side of it.
So I guess, I just want to make sure as we're going forward, right? Because June is coming up, they may be auditing again. You are able though then to provide reports at that point for whatever.
Oh,
there is
absolutely. Yeah, we
going
have been
forward.
since April
Okay,
of
okay.
2021.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it, okay. All right, my motion is going to be to issue a letter of reprimand for agenda item number 32.
Second.
Got a motion, and a second, any objections, reservations, seeing no one else, item which carries a letter of reprimand will be issued for agenda item number 32.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 33, LCV 22-0053, Shinsote. Did you say your name?
My name is Helen Galmichi. ALMICHE, and I'm with Shinsote.
Okay, this has been continued to today's calendar hearing for a contested case. Are the parties ready to proceed with a contested case?
Commissioners, I'll represent that we did subpoena 3 witnesses for the purpose of this case. And intent was to offer investigator Jacob Fears and also allow the commission to question investigator William Walker and Catherine Fontaine in the event you felt it would be necessary or helpful to you. However, I learned early this morning that both Jacob Fears and William Walker are out sick and they are unable to make it here. Because of that, I do believe it would be helpful for the commission to hear the testimony of the witnesses rather than just get it from their reports. I do believe that the licensee will be contesting the statements made by the licensee, and therefore I think it's appropriate for them to speak. However, I do feel there's sufficient evidence here if the commission wishes to proceed, but I'd ask that the city not be prejudiced by the fact that our investigators are not here. In the event you all wanted to hear the commissioner, the investigators testify, then I think it would be more than appropriate to ask for a continuance for another date when we can come back in. However, if the commission decides this should go forward, then I will proceed with what I got. We can also have a discussion on whether we can stipulate to the facts as what happened that night and determine whether or not here that stipulated facts, maybe it's just the thought that she didn't commit a violation based on the facts that we can agree to stipulate to. So I'd be a little interested to hear from her, but again, my official request is for a continuance in order for that you have the opportunity to listen to the investigators' testimony yourselves rather than just read the reports.
Do you understand his request? Okay, are you ready to proceed with the contested case? Do you have witnesses that you brought today?
No.
No witnesses. Did you have evidence that you uploaded?
No, just basically the statements made by the investigators is pretty much what I'm going on.
Okay.
So
Were you there that night of?
Oh,
the
yes, I
incident?
was
Okay,
there. I
so
was
you
the manager on
yourself would
duty.
be a witness, is that correct?
yes, I was the manager on duty.
Okay.
So the reason I wanted to continue this without the three investigators is because I'm not really sure of the legal terms, but I always thought this is like a frivolous citation. And I say that because the liquor commissioner said that the fine that they gave me, the citation that they gave me stated that I failed to immediately prevent or suppress that altercation. And when they came in, I didn't even know liquor commissioners. came in.
Sorry to interrupt. We don't want to get too far
Oh.
into the argument, depending on what we're going to do with
Okay.
Mr. Jacobs' request.
Oh,
So if I understand correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you are prepared to continue with a contested case, and that is what you want to do. You would object to his request for continuance. is
I
that
would
correct?
rather not continue it. I've already waited 15 months. I'm basically a calm person, but I've been having anxieties and there was a investigative report that I've never seen when I came to my first hearing in September of 2022. And 2 days before I was supposed to come to the May hearing, I found out there was an investigative report. So that's why it got extended to June 29. So I read the report and there were a lot of statements made that I thought was false. They're not here to say anything. But based on what they did say, I wanna just express to you that I think this case should actually be
I'm
dismissed.
sorry, again, we're just, at the
Oh.
moment, we're only considering,
So you cannot dismiss the case, sir.
we're not going to dismiss the case now. The question right now is whether we continue this evening or we continue the matter and allow the witnesses to be available. That's what we're deciding at the moment.
Okay, I would like to continue it
You would like to continue?
now. I mean,
Continue today.
yeah, today.
Commissioners, do you want to deliberate on that question, or do you have questions for either? Mr.
I,
Jacobs?
I would like to deliberate.
Okay, well, we will deliberate on that request.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, we are back on the record. Thank you for giving us time to deliberate. I think we have a few comments as a general matter. We don't like to continue contested case hearings when they're scheduled, particularly when there's a party ready to go. However, we have to balance that with the evidence that we have before us and what that means for the case. In this case, it looks as though the principal evidence is the testimony of one versus the testimony of another. And I think it would be highly prejudicial if one of those parties wouldn't be permitted to have that testimony available. So I would be inclined to continue this matter to the next available so that the commission has all of the evidence that it requires to make the best decision the commission can make. Commissioners, any comments or type of action?
I have no comments, but I will make a motion that we accept Mr. Jacobs' request to continue the matter until all parties can be there to provide testimony to the next available.
A second.
Motion and a second. Any objections, reservations, hearing seeing none?
So this just adds to what I think that this is
Hold on, sorry, just
a
a second.
frivolous case.
Sorry, let me finish my sentence.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear that word.
Hearing and seeing no objections, I also vote aye. The motion carries. This agenda item will be continued to the next available calendar date. As stated, I understand you're ready and we do empathize with that. If I was.
And 3 of the investigators are all sick.
Ma'am, I know, but that's the case. That case doesn't happen very often. I've never seen it as a commissioner. I know I haven't been here too long. but
And
I've
they
never
let
seen
me
it.
go the night of and they came back 4 days later to cite me.
Ma'am, this matter is continued.
But
to the
that's
next
not how
available
the liquor
calendar date.
commission works.
We are moving into other business.
It's really.
Calling agenda item number 34, Liquor Commission discussion, reselection of liquor control administrator. This is a discussion the commission have called regarding the candidates that we have available. And what to do about it. They've been waiting. They've had applications in for the liquor administrator position for some months now. And we were ready to begin the interview stage, but given all of the circumstances,
I really do.
given all of the circumstances.
Ignore me after 15 months.
Excuse me, ma'am, we have continued the matter. You will have your chance to present your case. Thank you
No, I
very
did
much.
not have a chance to do it.
You
My
still
case.
will,
I'm gonna
ma'am.
have to
Thank you.
wait another 6 months probably.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're not thanking me.
So what to do about these 3 candidates? One has officially, I think officially withdrawn. I'm not sure, but he has been at least considered for the.
Right. He is not formally withdrawn, but his the same name has gone forward for as a commissioner appointee. So the assumption is that he would. At
You
some
can't do
point,
both.
Yeah.
Can't do both.
Or you could ask.
Jeff, you want to do both?
So the way I see this, we could either, we don't have much time before I leave for international travels. And then Commissioner Hong is gone directly thereafter. And by the time Commissioner Hong comes back, we should hopefully be at a commission of 5. And I think at that point, we'd be in a better, more appropriate position to hire an administrator. Of course, prior to that, there's no practical chance we're going to hire an administrator. So the question, I suppose, would be, do we move forward with the 3 interviews just to show those candidates that we are moving forward and we're trying to keep this moving forward? And then essentially take a break until the full commission is seated. Or do we simply say, we're very close to the commission being seated. Let's postpone until that date to evaluate the 3 candidates and move forward from there.
Well, my view is I'm not against having more commissioners here to make a decision, but I am at a point where I think we've had these 4 individuals, well, now it's down to 3, waiting for quite a long time to hear at least what our plan is. Because we may go back to them and they may come back and say, well, sorry, you took too long. I've already applied somewhere else, right? So I do think we should at least determine if, so I know that there's 2 meetings in July that are not going to happen. But I know there's possible meetings in August. that may not happen, right? Because Commissioner Hong is not here, but I do believe we should at least give them some type of timeline to understand, hey, if you're still interested, we want to start looking at scheduling or ideas of scheduling. I mean, interview processes, right? Whether or not what that'll be, right? I mean, now I know Commissioner Hong has not had the chance to interview them, but based off the information, we did get information. So he was able to review some of that, right? I don't know if we want to talk about setting up something in one of the meetings in August when you're available to possibly at least interview something or tell them, let's have a discussion with them. I don't know. Because if you think about the guys that's names have dropped, are they going to be in by August?
I'm open to.
They're supposed to be seated in time for the August 10th meeting. That's what I was told.
Good.
Yes.
August 10th. So the available dates when you three are available, I'm gonna discourage saying, let's not do it on July 6th, but July 13, and then a long break. I guess August 3rd. There's 3, and then August 31 with everybody.
But you know what I mean? I think we should at least give them some type of timeline. And then whether they want to recant from applying or not, that's up to them. But right now, it's almost like we have not had any real follow-up with them in regards to putting out the email or putting out the notice, getting back applicants, and then that's it, right?
No, I did contact them by email and say, I confirmed receipt that I completed my MQ review. The list has gone forward, that I was awaiting instruction. So everyone said, thank you for saying.
When was that?
It was, okay, so the recruitment closed May 15th. I completed my review May 19th. It was maybe within the next 2 weeks, I think. It was in May, in the month of May or early June. I just said, just wanted to let you know, I have actually, when I received their stuff, I said, I confirmed I received your application and attachments. And then when I knew that we were not going to take action immediately, I just said, just letting you know, I'm still awaiting instruction from the commission. And they said, thank you for letting me know.
You know, I don't know. If I was one of the applicants, I don't know how much it would make as a practical matter, whether we conduct interviews, second week of July or, first week of September. It's a month and a half or so. I don't know how much that would affect someone.
I mean,
Maybe it could, but I don't know.
I'm more not about like when we do it, but I would like to at least figure out a date that we want to say we want to do it. And then, at least contact them and let them know this is what we're looking at. This and this, right? Versus leaving them to some degree. I'm not, because for me, I have no issue if we were to say August 31st. But at least we can let them know, hey, we're looking at August 31st as being an interview date or something like that. And we'll have a full commission, whatever it is, but keeping them updated.
Yeah, I think regardless of what position we take, we should be updating them on that position. So I definitely agree with that. So is there a preference one way or the other over interviews within the next 2 weeks or interviews in September?
I'm more inclined to try to do it earlier so that, on the chance that even if we defer it, while we're gone, other interviews can go on without us being here, and then we can make a decision. That's also another possibility. Do we have to?
Oh, okay, so what you're saying. He's talking about us 3 doing an interview, right? And then at that point, right, if the 2, unless I'm not understanding.
Yeah,
2 additional commissioners
Yeah.
come on, do like another interview with the newer commissioners, almost like a
2-step.
2-step type interview.
Because
Yeah,
we can also do those independently without a full, if it's just the 2 of them, right?
Well, we can't do it with the.
Yeah.
I think, what we could achieve if we did the interviews earlier is to a few different scenarios. One would say all 3 of them are terrible. We might as well wait and start over, right? And I think if we unanimously thought that, then there's no way any of them would be appointed anyway. we could also say all three are incredible. Let's do a second round with all of them with a full.
Yeah.
Full commission, or we could say one or two of them should be thrown out. And again, with the majority here anyway, if we really truly didn't think a particular candidate would be qualified, then we could at least narrow it.
Yeah, and also the process for us conducting interviews is not that smooth, so us having one more round of practice at it. might be
True, and I
better.
think we felt like we could have used a little bit more the
Yeah,
first time around,
definitely.
so.
Okay, I'm gonna just interrupt here. If I can make a procedural suggestion. And I'm suggesting if you do decide to do these interviews in July, and actually even for the later ones, is that we'll, on that particular date, we'll have again two agendas. There'll be the regular agenda, which is, blah, blah, blah. And then there'll be a special meeting where you conduct, and that one, because it's a separate agenda, and you'll have to check on this. I think we can do that by Zoom. And it's because one of the candidates is in British Columbia. Or
Well, I mean,
Vancouver or whatever.
if we could do an executive session on the 13th of July, as long as the interviews were done prior to that.
Yeah, I mean, assuming what I would need to post this Friday for July to do interviews on July, unless well,
I mean, I probably would suggest, and this is my opinion, if we're gonna do something like on the 13th where we have a Zoom thing. Then we all have a little bit of time, because you're not, to let that stuff steep or whatever. And then the third, you could do an executive session if we were to determine moving people, ranking them.
That's
Right.
true, they're not seated anyway.
unless you do a special meeting on another date that's not a Thursday, which. If it's a separate day, I don't think there's an issue where that one would have to, if you want to do all three of you interviewing the same person at once, someone is definitely in like British Columbia, one's and actually no one lives on Oahu, where you could do that by Zoom. It would be a public meeting, however, but unlikely that, I mean, maybe people will listen in, but unlikely that there's going to be testimony. And then I just need to be cognizant of when we post for that special meeting, when you're going to do those interviews.
Yeah, and if I can clarify.
That
just
makes
for this
sense.
For myself, I'm not expecting us to do any more than basically what we did last time, a closed door interview under executive session or whatever we called it. I'm not gonna bring them, I don't think, this is my interpretation, bring them before the commission in a public hearing prior to all five being seated.
I guess the question is how to conduct, to have all three of you interviewing someone at once, and I don't think I can keep it in exec.
We had talked about doing similar to what we had done last time.
Oh, 2 and 2?
Well,
Or 2 and 1,
not
or
the other- one of those two will be lonely.
or we just do 1-1-1.
Or 1-1-1.
Yeah.
If there's three candidates, maybe we can just do that.
Yeah, we just do it.
Oh, actually, if you just did the one, we wouldn't have to schedule anything.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And then we could schedule an executive session on the 13th.
On the
to just talk
13th,
about it.
okay,
Or
yeah.
like you said.
I like that
the
one.
third.
Well,
Or we do something on, an executive session on the 13th and schedule something on the 3rd to talk about it once everybody's steep. I'm just more worried about getting everything set up by the 6th. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think the approach of having each of us separately in a room like we did last time with interviews to start the process. Schedule that when we can schedule it. And then if we have time, if those are completed and we have time by January, or not January, but July 13th to call an executive session on the agenda just to talk about it, then we will. And if we don't, we can just call that on the 3rd.
Okay.
And then we've at least had the chance to talk in executive session about the three candidates and what we think, and should we drop one or do we like them all, whatever the case may be. And then we're prepared to, when Commissioner Hong comes back, have the full present our recommendations for the three candidates to the full commission and be able to have a determination with the full commission on what we want to do. Whether it's conduct secondary interviews or open it up to a recruiter or whatever the case may be.
So is it your intention, so there'll be three candidates and you're gonna each interview each candidate individually?
Correct.
Yeah. And is the preference is in person, or are you willing to do it by Zoom?
Well, I mean,
Well,
don't-
one guy
I don't
you're gonna
care. I
have
mean,
to-
obviously for candidates, they might prefer a person and they have a bit of a strategic advantage, but that's not up to me. I don't mind if they do Zoom. One of
Yeah,
them
I-
has to anyway, correct?
Pardon me?
One of them would have to anyway,
Yes.
correct? Yeah, so I think if one has to do it, we should make it available to everyone.
Yeah.
Um,
But I'm fine with in person or Zoom, whichever they as a candidate determine. But I think Zoom should be offered to everybody if we're going to have to do it for one anyway.
Agreed. So
So-
maybe we can start there and see if there's a collective, hour or however much time we would need, that all three candidates would be available. That's how this works, right? Is to be able to switch.
Because then
Zoom.
we just rotate through one for.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm set, like, candidate A is in a room and candidate B is in another room and candidate C is virtually present on Zoom.
Yeah.
And you just rotate,
Commissioner.
kind of like speed dating.
Yep.
Except not speedy, okay?
I think probably the conservative way to do this would be to presume that our executive session to talk about the interviews would be August 3rd. That would give us maximum flexibility between now and my departure to schedule the
Yeah,
interviews.
it would be tight, I mean, because we would have to because next week is already, next week, we're down on a Tuesday, and then the following week is already the 13th, and that's kind of, that may be kind of a challenge.
So probably practically speaking, the interviews may end up occurring that week anyway.
The week of the 13th,
Yeah,
yeah,
so if that happens, then we
August
have
3rd will
time.
be
we
your
have time
your
to
exec,
schedule it.
okay,
Yeah,
got it.
okay.
So I guess what we'll do, I can do is contact the candidates and indicate the commission's desire to conduct one-on-one interviews. Give them a range and maybe do almost like a doodle. Kind of, one guy is obviously can do it by Zoom, but a doodle kind of survey and then show that to you, and then you can say what works for you guys, right?
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Right,
Okay, that's a plan.
baby steps forward.
So,
Because if we give 20 minutes per candidate and we're just running around rooms, we can basically have everything done in an hour.
okay, so I'll aim at this week, the week of July 10th to July 14th, except maybe not do anything on the 13th, because
We have a calendar, sure.
Huh?
Because we have a calendar.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll aim them at that thing, okay, that week rather.
I'm assuming the guy that's gonna be via Zoom is probably gonna look at sometime between 10, 11, 12-ish. Being their regional time, right? Cause it's gonna be way later, earlier.
Where are they in Canada? West side, west coast?
I thought he said Vancouver. I haven't looked, I just don't recall.
Yeah, Vancouver's is 3 hours. So you gotta look at like,
Yeah, I think he could just slightly make himself available. I'm sorry, I
It's
mean,
better than Montreal. though.
yeah, that would be like 5 hours,
Yeah.
6 hours.
Gotta be working Hawaii time.
okay, so
Let's do it.
so that's what tomorrow I will contact them and get them to indicate their availability, offer both in person and or Zoom.
Mhm.
Okay. And then we'll go from there. Then after I get those dates, give them to you and you indicate, then we'll set those interviews. Okay,
Okay, great. Any other comments on this discussion? Awesome. Okay, so calling agenda item number 35, liquor administrator Mass, Mr. Ryan.
I don't have anything in addition to what I reported earlier today.
Great. Any other comments?